Hello and welcome to New Central Television. I am Lekon Onobanjo. The top stories at this hour. Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria accuses President Bola Tinubu of entrenching nepotism by extending tenures of key public officials from Yoruba ethnic group. Suspended Senator Akpotu Duanga vows to proceed with homecoming rally in Kogi Central despite ban by state governments, citing intelligence reports. South Africa's coalition government of national unity facing imminent collapse as ANC issues threat amid budget talks. Details to come your way shortly. We begin the news in Otopo, Benue State, where angry residents have taken to the streets to protest the escalating violence in the area, including a surge in killings and kidnappings. The demonstrators blocked key roads, demanding immediate action from the government and security agencies to tackle the growing insecurity that has plagued the community. The protests come after a series of deadly attacks that have left the community in shock and fear. The demonstrators who blocked major roads in the town are calling for urgent intervention from both the government and security forces. Many residents have been forced to flee their homes, while those who remain live in constant fear for their safety. As the protests continue, the call for immediate action to address the rising insecurity in the region grows louder. Still on insecurity, but then in north-central of Nigeria, the lawmaker representing Kogi Central Senatorial District, Natasha Akpotu-Duanga, has announced that she would not back out on a plan to return to her constituency for the Sallah break. The senator also urged her supporters to disregard speculations making the rounds that she has cancelled her scheduled visit. She disclosed this in a statement issued by her media team in the early hours of Tuesday. While stating that she has a statutory function in her capacity as a lawmaker representing her constituents, the senator encouraged her supporters to troop out en masse to celebrate Eid al-Fitr with her. Akpotu-Duanga's homecoming notification comes a few hours after the Kogi state government banned rallies and public gatherings in the state over security reports. Meanwhile, the police have asked Senator Natasha Akpotu-Duanga to cancel her planned Sallah rally in Kogi State Central Senatorial District. Kogi State Commissioner of Police Mila Dantawaye stated this in a released report on Tuesday by the police public relations officer ASP William Aya. According to the statement, Dantawaye said the rally goes against the state government's recent ban on political gatherings, which was announced on Monday. The police also warned against any attempt to defy the directive, saying this is in view of the security threat received on the planned rally. And now to some Sallah stories. As Muslim faithful across the globe celebrate Eid al-Fitr, the Nigerian army used the occasion to boost the morale of its troops stationed in the northeast, particularly those engaged in Operation Hardin Kai. The 2025 Eid Sallah launch-in, held in Maiduguri, Borno State, provided a unique opportunity for senior military officers to interact with wounded soldiers and those on the front line, and also reaffirm their commitment to national security and the welfare of personnel. New Central's Maro Kurawa has details on this report that would bring you later during the course of this bulletin. Away from that, troops and personnel of 3 Division Maxwell Kobe Cantonment and Operation Safe Haven have been commended for their doggedness in service and urged to uphold the virtues of unity, mutual respect, and peaceful coexistence among themselves as they carry out their duty in the service of their fatherland. This was the charge of Nigeria's Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, represented by Major General Obinna Ajunwa, Commander of Armor Corps, while performing the tradition of the Chief of Army Staff Eid al-Fitr luncheon with troops in Plateau State. Correspondent Chizoba Anyome was there for News Central and now reports.
Still in the spirit of Eid al-Fitr, the Nigerian army set aside this day to celebrate these troops for their bravery, doggedness, and gallantry in service to the nation. This fete was to spur them in their selfless service to Nigeria. motivating and encouraging them to put in more effort to stamp out the myriad of insurgencies in some parts of the country. The Chief of Army Staff reiterated his resolve in improving their welfare.
Their sacrifices have ensured the security and stability of our country, demonstrating their resilience, courage, and professionalism while discharging their responsibilities. In keeping with the tenets of my common philosophy, I remain committed to strengthening the operational capacity, welfare, and combat readiness of our troops. This underscores the vital role of discipline, professionalism, and interagency collaboration, all of which are crucial in tackling the contemporary security challenges confronting our nation.
While many celebrate the Eid with family and loved ones, these soldiers remain undaunted, dedicated, and selfless in service. It is on this premise that the General Officer Commanding 3 Division and Commander of Operation Safe Haven salutes their unwavering commitment to duty.
I must take this moment to commend the gallant officers and soldiers, as well as personnel of 3 Division and Operation Safe Haven, as well as all security agencies in the platoon, for their unwavering dedication to duty. Your sacrifices in ensuring the security and safety of our citizens, often at great personal risk, do not go unnoticed. You have displayed courage, resilience, and professionalism in carrying out your responsibilities, and for that, I extend my deepest gratitude.
Next, the crux of the event, the Chief of Army Staff, the GOC, and other senior officers of other sister security agencies in the state, both serving and retired, performed the tradition of serving the troops and personnel at the luncheon.
Now, if this is a show of motivation and support for these troops and officers of the Nigerian Army in 3 Division and Operation Safe Haven, it means that more will be expected of them in defense of the fatherland. In Plateau State for News Central, Chizoba Anyoe.
Away from Sallah celebrations, the Edo State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal will deliver its judgment on Wednesday, April 2, in the petition filed by the People's Democratic Party and its candidate, Asue Godalo. The tribunal is set to rule on 3 petitions filed by the PDP challenging the declaration of Monday Okpewolo of the All Progressives Congress as the winner of the election by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Okpewolo had secured a total of 291,667 votes, defeating his closest rival, Ighodalo, of the PDP with almost 50,000 votes. The petitioners are contesting the validity of the election results declared, citing alleged non-compliance with the provisions of the 2022 Electoral Act as amended. And tying that to politics, the Labour Party candidate in the 2023 Rivers State governorship election, Farfadan Princewell, has attributed the state's governance challenges to an unclear constitution. Speaking at a public forum, he emphasized that constitutional ambiguities hinder effective leadership, policy making, and accountability. He called for constitutional reforms to address loopholes and ensure better administration. His remarks have sparked discussions among stakeholders on the need for legal reviews to improve governance structures in Rivers State.
Problems in Rivers State reflects what I would call the issues of constitution that the patriots have been talking about for decades. I think our constitution has aspects of it, either in terms of gaps or lacuna, sometimes not so clear, maybe things are not as clear, you know, and a lot of the, and then even when they're clear, some of them are probably not quite working. You know, I think it is those issues that are at the bottom of the conflict. And it's not only in River State, you know, and we have had, since 1999, a lot of issues, even before 1999. I remember in Kaduna State during the Barabi Musa issues, where the governor had issues with his... So the rules, the constitution needs to be looked at whenever you have this major crisis. Even in terms of the reaction of the president, the National Assembly, a lot of the things that have happened show that our rules are not strong enough. The regulations are not strong enough. For example, should the National Assembly, should it be by voice vote? Our constitution is not clear enough.
Now to Kano State, where Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf has assured that his Edo State counterparts will pay compensation, also known as dia, to families of the victims of Kano hunters that were killed in Uromi, Edo State. Governor Yusuf disclosed this on Monday during the condolence visit he paid to Torankawa community, home of some of the deceased hunters, alongside Edo State Governor Monday Okpewolo. The visit, which brought together key government officials and community leaders, was aimed at reassuring the affected families of the government's commitment to securing justice and providing necessary support. Governor Yusuf emphasized the importance of ensuring that similar incidents do not occur in the future and called on the Edo State government to expedite the promised compensation for the victims' families, emphasizing that the loss of breadwinners had left many households in distress.
Gobe Allah ya sani, jiya Allah ya sani, ba haka ba, amma Allah ya baka, Allah ya duka, ba haka ba, to, wallahi zai samu justice, yanzu akwai arrest 14 persons suna da police. Inshallah, komi daidai. Wannan shine gwamnan Edo wanda ya zo ya ganku ya ba ku hakuri. Abin da muke magana abu ne kaman guda uku ko hudu. Na ɗaya, a sama mana haƙƙin 'yan uwanmu a tabbata an kama waɗannan tsinannun mutanen a zamanin na uku, a tabbatar da cewa an biya diya kamar yadda dokar musulunci abin da muka yi niyya a wannan yanki tun da ba fin ƙarfin mu aka yi ba kuma nuna mana wani tsarin jiki za a yi ba da sai mun ɗauki mataki akan wannan al'amari amma saboda darajar mai girma gwamna da mutuncinsa da kuma koyi irin na jagoranci da ike mana da yadda shi mai girma gwamnan Edo ya ɗauki matakai ya kalli mutuncin gwamnanmu da ma'amularsu da yadda ya zauna a Kano iga ma'amular mu ta mutanen Kano ya ɗauki mataki iri daban-daban tun daga kan rushe ita wannan ƙungiya da ɗaukan matakai iri daban-daban na biyan diyar 'yan uwan nan namu da aka kashe. Wannan shi yasa muka kai zuciya nesa muka haƙura kuma muka yi addu'a waɗannan 'yan uwa namu da suka gabata Allah ya gafarta musu.
Away from that, now a total of 117 million Nigerians have registered for the National Identity Number as of February 28, 2025. Data sourced from the NIMC enrollment dashboard indicates that Lagos State is taking the lead with over 12.6 million registrants. Kano State followed with 10.2 million registrants. A percentage of 56.5% of the registered individuals are male, while 43.5% are female. Bayelsa, Ebonyi, and Ekiti states ranked as the 3 states with the lowest enrollment figures. Bayelsa recorded a total of 758,111 registrations, with 416,015 males and 342,096 females. Ebonyi followed with a total of 990,775 registrations, comprising 537,939 males and 452,836 females. Ekiti had a total of 1,143,102 registrations, with 566,229 males and 576,873 females. Let's now go on a short break. We still have more stories to come your way. Do stay with us. Part of it is the April 1st story. Of course, we'll tell you more when we return. Every year, the Muslim community in Katsina comes alive with joy and festivity as they celebrate Eid al-Fitr, or Eid al-Adha rather, also known as Lesser Eid. This year has been no different as families gather to share the joy of the occasion. And so joining us live from this particular conversation from Katsina State is our correspondent, Rukaya Jibia. Rukaya, good afternoon to you and happy celebrations. Hello, Rukaya, can you hear me?
Awesome.
Okay,
yes,
so
yes.
All right, good. So can you give us a picture of how it's going down with the celebration of Eid al-Adha in Katsina State?
Okay, as you can see, Sallah is still going on in Katsina, and you can feel the joy and the peace in the air. You know, as families come together to celebrate this joyous occasion, you can see that in the park, in Continental Confucius Park here, and a lot of families are celebrating the Sallah with their children. You can see the children are just happy playing around the flavor. So the atmosphere in Katsina is vibrant and it's full of life.
So can you let us understand what's the difference between Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha? Is it something that usually coincides with the celebration every year?
Yes, both the Eid al-Fitr and the Eid al-Adha is the same thing. It's both called the Lesser Eid, and you know we have the Eid Sallah, but now we are celebrating the Eid al-Fitr, and mostly it's a 3-day celebration here in Katsina. And we have the Eid prayers, and then after the Eid prayers, we have the Jab celebration, and we have the traditional drum and the Asharali. And then also the 3rd day, mostly that is this day, families usually celebrate maybe with their families, with their children in parks like this, and then the thing of relatives. So this is what happens almost every Sallah in Katsina. This is how we celebrate it.
Okay, so I don't know if you've spoken with anyone in Katsina State. I mean, some of our correspondents spoke with a few people in Lagos, and a few of them talked about not being able to celebrate the festivities due to the harsh economic realities. I don't know if there's a difference in what's happening in Katsina State.
No, I don't think, because most of the families here did complain about the economic condition, I think. So they celebrate their Sallah. Let me use the grand style.
That's good. That's good. So we know that tomorrow everybody will be going back to their various endeavors and jobs. How is it like for them for this festivity, and how is the turnout like? Is it encouraging?
Yes, it's encouraging. I have somebody here. I think he's one of the managers in this park, in this Continental Computer Park, and I asked him. I think he's joining me now, so that he will tell us how people can celebrate it here.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, absolutely.
Oh, I thought you wanted to talk to someone. Rukayat.
Yes, okay, so Abdul Latif is here with me. He's one of the management and continental computers here. Abdul Latif, can you please tell us how families is celebrated and how families are celebrating for life?
So, alhamdulillah, Sallah is celebrated peacefully here in Katsina. People are in Harare, they are enjoying the month. So this is the festive period. So people want to mind emptying their pocket in order to enjoy and celebrate Sallah in the whole, I can say, festive period in general. So people are trying, they are hypervising the places, public places where they can go and spend the time. Saving, some of them, the savings, considering the they come out from mass, going to crowd, as you can see now, people, the students are enjoying all of it. When you read that,
Okay, Rukayat, we might just need to discontinue with the interview for now. We're actually having, audio disruption from your end, but then thank you for bringing us that particular update from Katsina State. It's very colorful, I must say, with the celebrations and the children playing in the background. Let's move on and talk about April Fool's Day. Nigerians join the rest of the world on April 1 to commemorate April Fool's Day, a light-hearted tradition of playing harmless pranks on friends, family, and colleagues. In this special report, a News Central correspondent, Austin Azu, explores the ways Nigerians observe this day, the creativity and humor involved, and the importance of respecting boundaries.
Suggests that April Fool's Day received its name from the custom of playing practical jokes on people on the first day in April. In Nigeria, many people embraced the day with enthusiasm, using the opportunity to showcase their creativity and sense of humor. But how much do residents of Asaba, Delta State capital, know about April Fool's Day and how the game is being played?
I'm aware today in April Fool.
I was not aware of hardship of this country, but first day, all your mind and hustling, how you go to survive. So our mind, you don't say that before. When April Fool don't reach like this, before that day, everybody don't they talk and they don't they prepare to do April Fool. But now country don't change now. You wake up in the morning, you focus on your hustling. How you go to hustle? Nobody don't think all those things again.
Some respondents shared their April Fool's Day experiences.
In fact, I've not been pranked before, apart from the one they do me this morning where my BP nearly rise. They just called me that we had made a foundation inside Warri, Ijedo Assis, under the PA land. Say government don't come this morning. Say they don't carry a black on, they demolish the place. I say, that's going to happen. Well, they don't go on nothing. Why that can happen? I say, my brother, they don't call me. Why? I say, my BP don't even go high. I say, make correct. They say, no, it's not April Fool. Now my man come down. For every rush we got to, I say, if not be God.
That one, they go come, my mama say, his sister they die. Me rock off village, mama call the bath. All of us, come gather all of us. Say, make we go village, only for us to they go for road. Now they call us say na April Fool. See that thing, it cause problem for my house.
While April Fool's Day is a time for humor and laughter, some respondents maintained that it's essential to remember to be respectful and consider others' feelings, especially considering the current economic realities in Nigeria.
Because one, me and you know that the country is not in a stable state. Everybody has BP in this country now. So there is some prank you will do that will lead someone to death, or they will lead that person to a coma.
The April Fool is not as usual. Because if you may tell somebody April Fool now, the person may be annoyed and will take you to change it for you. At the end of the day, it becomes trouble. So I think we should just avoid it this time around.
Experts have said the pranks only run from morning to 12 noon on April Fool's Day and urged Nigerians to be mindful of their actions and ensure that their pranks do not cause unnecessary stress or anxiety. In Asaba for News Central, Austin Azu.
Let's now tell you that the federal government has announced the temporary closure of the Independence Bridge for maintenance, that is the marine-bound bridge, and starting from April 1. The Federal Comptroller of Works in Lagos, Olukorede Kesha, confirmed the closure will last until May 2025. The move affects traffic from Ahmadu Bello Way and Adelo Dekun heading to Marina, Eko Bridge and Onikom. Motorists are advised to use alternative routes to avoid delays. Keisha apologized for the inconvenience and urged public cooperation, stressing that the maintenance is crucial for safety. For now, commuters should plan ahead as Lagos navigates this major roadwork. We're now going on a very short break. When we return, we'll bring you more stories to stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. Naturally, every woman likes to look good from her head down to her feet. Hence, they invest a lot in self-care. Young or old, no woman wants to be caught looking less than her best. So in this report, News Central's Chinwe seeks the views of women and even men on this issue against the backdrop of the state of the economy. Let's take a listen.
Women are highly beauty conscious, irrespective of age, religion or status in the society. In these times, so many women are thriving in various fields and can afford any self-care they desire or require to look good without depending on their husbands or male friends to provide for them.
I believe they should make out time for themselves, take care of themselves, give themselves the best, eat good food, look good as they have always been.
It's good for a woman to take good care of herself, and it's good to look good.
Even young women who are still dependent on their families go all out to be trendy, regardless of the cost.
All my savings, I used to look good. All my money, I used to look good.
To make braids now, stylists charge cutthroat prices for styles that may not last beyond 1 month.
Attachment line is 3,500 naira. Then you buy 2. Then the workmanship at least depends on the agreements between you and the person that's making the hair. So that person might collect 5,000 naira.
The inflation in Nigeria has equally caused de-escalation in the prices of goods and services, leading to increase in the cost of maintenance of oneself. According to some women, looking good does not necessarily require one to break the bank, but it is an essential routine in every woman's life.
You can look good according to your pocket. Yes, let's say if you are I want to make I'm making my hair now. I plan to make long hair, but checking my bag, I have little money. I have to still make something that will make me look beautiful.
While some men feel it is unreasonable for women to spend so much money on hair, clothes, shoes and makeup, there are still those who feel it is necessary and do not hold in supporting women to look good.
If you put yourself in the stingy area, you can't do anything. So it's better you have the money, you dress good. And I advise them to, look good at any given time they want.
The economic situation notwithstanding, some say whatever amount a woman spends on herself to look nice and be happy is worth it, considering all they go through.
Will you spend it to the grave? Yeah, I think women should take good care of themselves, give it a big shot. In fact, give your friends the best. Take yourself out, give yourself a good treat. Don't see it as the whole world is on you.
It's a normal something. They're supposed to still look good. Of course, you can't, because of what we are seeing now, with the way rights.
Because it's your money. If you spend it on yourself, it's not too much.
There is no way a woman can achieve good looks without spending money on her hair, makeup, clothes, shoes and even skincare. So the next time you see a good-looking woman, appreciate the effort she has put in to achieve her looks. In Omahia for News Central, Chinwe Ugele.
In Southern Africa, the African National Congress has issued a stark warning, saying the collapse of budget talks could lead to a reshuffling of the government of national unity in South Africa. Fikile Mbalula, the ANC's Secretary General, addressed the media earlier today, stressing the party's commitment to the unity government, but also acknowledged that internal squabbles may force a reassessment of the government structure. Mbalula emphasized the ANC's dedication to maintaining the government of national unity. However, he cautioned that if political point scoring continues, they may be forced to reconsider its configuration. The ANC has been in discussions with a range of political parties, both within and outside the unity government, in an attempt to secure backing for the budget. The parties are expected to meet on Wednesday to finalize their discussions and vote on the budget. In the meantime, the African Growth and Opportunity Act has been a cornerstone for African economies, particularly benefiting countries like South Africa by providing duty-free access to U.S. markets. However, the looming threat of a cutoff from AGOA raises significant concerns for the agricultural sector in South Africa. These developments could severely impact local farmers, disrupting trade relationships and untimely threatening food security. Still in southern Africa, police were out in force and businesses and offices closed in key Zimbabwe cities after authorities warned against demonstrations called for on Monday to demand that President Emmerson Mnangagwa leave office. Security forces patrolled city centers after warning people to ignore a call by a faction of Mnangagwa's own ZANU-PF party to demonstrate against the president, who took part in a coup 8 years ago. A small group of people tried to assemble at the president's Robert Mugabe Square in the capital, Harare, but were dispersed by the police. Videos on social media showed the protests were called by a veteran of the ZANU-PF in power since independence in 1980, following moves by a faction of the party to keep Mnangagwa, who is 82 years in power, beyond the end of his term in 2028. We now go to East Africa, where the press secretary of South Sudan's presidential office says that Angelina Teny, the interior minister and wife of first vice president Riek Machar, is not under arrest and is performing her duties. The first vice president Riek Machar was under house arrest 2 days after he was detained. Machar's arrest by forces loyal to President Salva Kiir prompted United Nations chief Antonio Guterres last Friday to call on warring parties to put down the weapons and put all the people of South Sudan first, as the conflict risks plunging the world's youngest nation back into civil war. The unraveling power-sharing deal between Kiir and Machar risks a return of the civil war that killed around 400,000 people in 5 years. The deputy chair of Machar's party said his arrest abrogated the agreement.
The government of South Sudan refute that assertion. Honorable Angelina Teny, the Minister of Interior and spouse of First Vice President Dr. Riek Machar, is not under arrest. That we must make it clear. She is on her duties. The government of South Sudan remains resolute in its commitment to advance peace, stability, and security within the borders. We are dedicated to nurturing the constructive diplomatic relation with our neighboring countries and the broader international community, so that we are deeply value our partnership.
Recently, after donating some $150,000 to a Nairobi church just months after saying such handouts fueled corruption, Ruto's pledge of 20 million shillings to the Jesus Winner Ministry Church led to protesters gathering there a week later, demanding the return of what they called stolen tax money, only to be tear-gassed by the police. Church donations and fundraisers are a long-standing tradition in Kenya, and politicians often use pulpits to reach the masses in the predominantly Christian country. But the practice has become increasingly divisive since mass protests broke out last June against tax hikes, corruption, and police brutality. In the aftermath, Ruto banned government officials from participating in fundraising drives for churches. Still ahead on the news. Former Australia Prime Minister urges political leaders to be bold against U.S. influence ahead of elections. We'll bring you the details and other stories in a short while. Do join us again. outside of Africa, we tell you that Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andrei Sybiha said on Tuesday that his country will work with the United States towards a mutually acceptable agreement of a minerals deal that the two countries can sign. Speaking at a press conference, Sybiha said one round of consultations had already taken place on a new draft of the minerals deal and that an agreement providing for a strong American business presence in Ukraine would contribute to his country's security infrastructure. The statement came after U.S. President Donald Trump said on Sunday that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky wants to back out of the deal, warning that the Ukrainian leader would face big problems if he does that. Now, our former Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull humorously mimicked Donald Trump during a speech on Tuesday, urging candidates in the upcoming May 3 general election to stand firm against U.S. influence. Turnbull, who had led Australia when Trump took office in 2017, adopted a comedic American accent to capture Trump's distinctive manner. He advised politicians not to be intimidated by potential criticism from the U.S. president. His remarks sought to encourage resilience and boldness among Australian election candidates, stressing that standing up for national interests is key to successful leadership. Earlier this year, Turnbull criticized Trump's return to office, calling it chaotic and erratic. Trump, in return, criticized Turnbull as ineffective and weak, referring to his handling of China. The two leaders' relationship has always been strained.
And that's what, that's the challenge for our leaders. And they've got to be able to stand up. And if that means you get a brickbat or a Truth Social post, saying you're weak and ineffectual, you don't know anything about China, then you should, if you're spooked by that, you shouldn't be in the job. This is the thing. We've got to stop looking at our own country through the prism of Washington. We've got to start looking after ourselves. As I said, do you think if there was an Australian version of Donald Trump, do you think that that person would be tiptoeing around worrying about offending the United States? Of course not.
European Union Chief Ursula von der Leyen has stated that the bloc remains hopeful for a negotiated resolution regarding the anticipated imposition of sweeping U.S. tariffs this week. However, she made it clear that if negotiations fail, the EU is prepared to respond decisively. Speaking during a European Parliament session, von der Leyen emphasized that Europe had not initiated the trade confrontation with the United States. Still, she assured lawmakers that the EU has a robust plan in place to retaliate if necessary, signaling a firm stance on protecting European interests.
Europe has not started this confrontation. We do not necessarily want to retaliate, but if it is necessary, we have a strong plan to retaliate and we will use it.
In business, the breakaway alliance of Sahel states, which includes Mali, Niger Republic, and Burkina Faso, has intensified its conflict with the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, by implementing a 0.5% import duty on goods from member countries. This decision is part of the three nations' efforts to finance a new union after leaving the larger regional economic organization. The tax, which was agreed upon on Friday, is effective immediately and will apply to all imports from outside the three countries, with the exception of humanitarian aid. Oladipo Ajayi, head of fixed income and FX at Chapel Hill Denham Securities, highlighted President Tinubu's remarks on Business Edge, stating that Africa possesses abundant resources and requires investor-friendly policies to attract investment instead of relying on aid.
Attract investor, but yet you have hostile environment. You don't want to attract investor, then there's high level of insecurity in your economy. So these are some of the things that we also need to do because we can't continue to actually live based on what comes from offshore, like a grant or a supply from offshore. We have a lot as African nation, and that's why one of the reasons why I supported AFTA for a great extent, because I feel that if we can actually develop and trade among ourselves, it will help to actually develop Africa. And don't forget that every product that you import into the African clan, what you have done is you have exported employment. And that's one of the reasons why we feel that there's a high level of unemployment in Africa, because we keep importing. Have you thought about it that we will export crude products, and at the end of the day we'll bring in refined products into African client? So it simply means that what we do, we just extract and send abroad. We don't want to add value, and the process of adding value, that's where you create the employment. And what you have done is that you actually extract, send abroad, and you get a refined product for you to actually consume here. So we need to go beyond just extracting and sending abroad.
And reports just reaching us is that the lawmaker representing Kogi Senatorial District, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, has just given a press statement as regards the barring of our homecoming into Kogi State by the governor of the state. And of course, the police also are coming out to say they would enforce the ban and that the homecoming or the rally should be postponed. We have our correspondent who's actually on ground to actually give us updates on this. Sagir Ibrahim. Sagir Ibrahim, good afternoon to you. Kindly let us understand what the content of that press briefing was from the senator.
Good afternoon, Lekon. Thank you very much for having me. We're currently at the country home of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. As you can see right behind me, individuals are here currently gathered at the entrance, hoping that they will be granted access into the main building just to have another glimpse of their senator. Earlier in the day, she had briefed a very large crowd of individuals who had defied the odds that were set by the state government banning public gathering within the state to come out here to show solidarity, to show love, and of course to show support for the senator who unfortunately on the 6th of March was suspended from the Senate due to what the Senate had deemed unruly conduct and unruly behavior. The issue currently is during the briefing that she had, or rather during her address to her constituents and her supporters, she called on them not to accept the suspension, as it were, as she deemed it an injury to one being injury to all. She has, however, mentioned that despite the suspension, it doesn't stop her from carrying out her regular functions of supporting her people. She is expected to, of course, commission some projects and also commence the construction of others within, of course, her constituency, pending when the issue surrounding her suspension or her recall, as the case may be, is addressed. This is the developments we have right now. We're trying our best to see if we can have another sit down with her. We'll be bringing that developments to you the moment we can get that. Back to you in the studio.
Quickly, before I let you go, are there any security operatives around there looking at the ban, the purported ban on a homecoming?
Well, as a matter of fact, there's quite a number of policemen that are attached. In fact, just right now behind my cameraman, there are two policemen who are fully kitted and, of course, waiting, to avert any kind of breakdown of law and order that might ensue or that might come up as a result, of the multitude of crowds, that are currently here. As you can see, my cameraman is trying to pan, for you to get a better glimpse of the security presence that's here. Quite a number of policemen, as a matter of fact, are here present. And in fact, at the gate, there are much more at the gate, just waiting and hoping that all issues regarding insecurity, all issues regarding the breakdown of law and orders is, of course, properly addressed. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Ibrahim, for bringing us the updates. Definitely, we will connect with you to get more details about the homecoming. It was nice talking to you. Now, you're watching News Central Television. That ends our bulletin for this hour. Don't forget you can send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on your screen. And you can follow us on social media. We are at News Central Television. Watch us live on GoTV, channel 23, DSTV 422, Star Times 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekon Onobanjo.